guys, it is Tuesday, so time for Toolbox Tuesday. Today's tool is being shared with my 3-year-old who insists on being part of our audience today. Today's tool comes from one of the biggest frustrations that I see on a day-to-day basis with parents is just that excuse me. Hey, remember I told you to be really quiet? Thank you. Okay. So the day-to-day frustrations for parents are simply my kids won't listen, my kids won't listen, my kids won't listen. And it's true in most situations because they can't. So that comes from brain development. These little people's heads are not fully developed yet. Their prefrontal cortex especially just isn't there. So we have skills that we take for granted. The ability to have impulse control, for example. The ability to have patience. Those things develop much further along than 3. And so when we are expecting a 3-year-old to just drop what he's doing and stop playing with his favorite toy and do something because we asked him to, we're expecting something that's outside of their brain's capacity to achieve. And we're setting ourselves up for frustration, and we're setting up ourselves and them for failure. And so the way that we deal with that with small people, because obviously we still want them to listen, is that, one, we just understand how their brains work. We understand that it's not going to be perfect most of the time. But the second part is that we can get up and make a connection. I read an article a few years back called, I'm actually going to change the title slightly for the cursing factor, but it was called Get Off Your Butt Parenting. And it initially was a little bit harsh. You know, you're reading it and you're like, well, that's not fair. But the guy had a great point. We have gotten to this place where we want to sit on the couch and bark orders and expect them to be adhered to. And that does a disservice to the kids. They learn very quickly to sort of tune us out. And it's not a malicious thing, and it's not a disobedient thing. It's that they aren't really quite as capable mentally as we would like them to be to stop what they're doing. Their impulses are so strong at these young ages, and they don't have the ability to shut them off. They don't have the ability to override them. If you are eating something in your kitchen, say you came home and there's a pie and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna eat this pie, and you start eating it, or you go to eat it and your husband says, wait, stop. You can stop, but you've had 20 or 30 years to develop, first of all, the trust that people who are saying wait, stop have a reason to say that. And secondly, that impulse control. You have so much more logic, so much more life skills, so much more knowledge to be able to apply thousands of reasons why your want to have that pie is probably not as important as this other person's want for you to stop. But our kids don't have that life experience yet. So what will happen is we'll say stop, and they might stop for a second. They might not stop at all, for one thing. They might literally not register what we're saying. Or they might stop for a second, or they might stop and start again. And then we're really frustrated because how could they possibly do what we just told them not to do? And the answer is simply because their brains do not allow them perfect control yet. They just don't have it. So the best way to achieve that obedience that we're looking for, and now if you're in my group, my private group, you'll know how I feel about blind obedience. But there are times we need obedience from our kids. And so if we want our kid to listen the best way possible, it's really important that we get up, we go to them, we get on their level, and we make a connection, a physical connection. Touch their shoulder, hold their hand, look them in the eyes, say their name, and wait for them to respond. You're breaking their focus on whatever else they were doing. You're helping gather their attention, helping give them the tools, that focus and attention, to then listen and hear and actually process what you're asking of them. And it makes a huge difference. I recently heard from a mom that it sounds so simple to get on their level, but it wasn't something that she had ever thought a whole lot about. And once she started doing that, her kids were like, oh, there's mom. And they'd give her a hug and they'd listen. And it was just such a better way for them to communicate. So with my kids, I mean, it's all day. It's bouncing up off the couch and off my computer and running and going and intervening and stuff because that's what I'm here to do. So I'll get down on my knees because they're both quite short right now. They're little people. And I will hold their hands, both of their hands usually because they're kind of crazy. And I will just look straight in their eyes and, tell them whatever it is. I need you to do X, Y, Z. I need you to stop. I need you to be quiet. I need you to whatever it is that I need. And it really helps to make that physical connection and that eye contact and speak in a voice that is soft. And the reason you do that is because if you are hollering or yelling, they can hear your volume, but they can't really hear your words. They're not registering. They are trying to judge the situation from a place of concern. Am I going to be in trouble? Am I in danger? Am I not in danger? There's so many other safety things going on in their brain that they're not processing your words. So even when you're frustrated, take a breath. Come on their level, hold their hands, touch their shoulders, grab their cheeks. You can put 2 hands on the side of their cheeks and look straight in their face. Get them to focus on you. Make sure you register that connection. And then tell them what you need them to do or what you'd like them to accomplish or whatever it is. I found that that's worked so much better with my kids than when I'm, trying to bark orders. And I still do it. I still will be sitting there like, hey, stop doing that. Why are you dumping the Legos? Pick up all the Legos. And they just kind of keep going. And the reason why is because their impulse control just isn't there yet. So when I go over there and I can make the connection and I can look at them and say, hey, we're getting ready to leave and I need all of these Legos in this bucket. And just by doing that, they're more likely to do it. And then, of course, I can make it fun. I can make it a game. I can make it a competition. I can help them pick up, okay, you pick up the red ones, I'll pick up the blue ones. There's a lot of different things we can do to help our kids enjoy listening more, but making that first connection is absolutely essential so that they are given the tools to listen to what we want them to do. So that is our tool for today. Just make a connection, physical connection, eye contact connection, and vocal connection, and your kids will be able to listen a little bit better. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It doesn't tell me who's watching, but it does show some watchers, so thanks so much, and I will see you guys. I actually am going to see you tomorrow. I haven't been doing Wednesday videos, but I'm going to start something new tomorrow, so I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.